All right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show and the pregame show of your Sachse Mustangs as they're taking on the Lakeview Centennial Patriots, coming to you live from Homer B. Johnson Stadium tomorrow night. As we are here on the pregame show, we're going to take a look at what's going on as far as the Sachse Mustangs are concerned as the divisions and district play start up this week, and the Sachse Mustangs, they dive into the district play, taking on the Lakeview Centennial Patriots. But that being said, let's take a look at what's going on in the standings through the first 2 weeks of high school football in District 9-6A. That's where your Sachse Mustangs play. And as of right now, Wiley East, they're 2-0 on the season. They are sitting kind of on top because when they figure out the standings, they don't use the out-of-district games as far as the standings are concerned. But the overall standings are concerned, they are in 2-0. The Garland Owls, they are 1-1, as well as Lakeview Centennial, the team that your Sachse Mustangs are taking on, as well as North Garland, South Garland, and Wiley. Naaman Forest, Rowlett, and Sachse are 0-2 as they get started in two districts. So sitting down at the bottom are the Sachse Mustangs, Rowlett, and Naaman Forest. But this is where the games get interesting, because when you dive into the district games, depending on who was playing who in the out-of-district games, it'll just depend upon what we see out on the football field within district play based upon who they were playing. So that being said, Sachse, with that tough 0-2 standings right now, doesn't sound great. But when you take a look at what they did, I think they actually did good out of district based upon the type of opponents they were taking on. These were very quality opponents. If you take a look at Prosper, where they were, as well as the Coppell Cowboys, the simple fact of the matter is I think that they actually went out and did fairly good against a team that really, really works hard. Now, granted, they both have had scored upon over 50 points, but it's more in the fact of realizing the opponent. And that being said, Prosper and Coppell really, really high. So excited that we saw some points being scored within the Coppell game, as they did lose that game 56-27 in that game. And when you look at that whole thing, it's really all about being able to get scoring and when they did it, as far as that is concerned. If you take a look at that Coppell game, you saw a lot of things in there, especially coming out of the third quarter and being able to get up and get the touchdown to start the third quarter. That was huge for them, especially for trying to get back into the game. But take a look at what happened in Prosper. They scored on their first drive after an onside kick. That was really pretty, by the way. And then they scored late in the fourth quarter with Alex Gutierrez at the quarterback. And so lots of things that are going to be happening, as we really don't even know what's going to happen as far as who's going to get the start at quarterback, who's playing well. That's all up to the coach and what they saw. What we saw is a team that right now is going to go into district after, being hammered in reality. But even though that happened, I think them going into district will be really good for them. I think the opponents that they're going to be taking on, as far as Lakeview this week, that's going to help them, especially with Lakeview doing right now. They're 1-1 within the district. So it's nice to see that. And they're going to go head to head, and we'll see where they end up after this one is all over and said and done. So as you take a look at the Lakeview Centennial Patriots, they got their first loss. That was going against Frisco Memorial. We kind of covered that in the halftime show last week. They took the loss 30-28 as the Frisco Memorial got the victory. And last week they got a 10-9 victory over Skyline. And that was a huge deal, as they got the field goal to go ahead and take that lead, go into the fourth quarter as they were behind. So they actually had to fight into it. Not a lot of scoring in this game, obviously, as the Lakeview Centennial Patriots had 7 points up on the board in the first quarter. And in the fourth quarter, they managed to get the field goal and get that victory. So where they stand and what they do is really interesting. Now, when you take a look at that game last week, the one where they got the victory against Skyline, first downs, Lakeview Centennial were only able to get 12 first downs in that game. And the total yards for that football team, 173. And most of that was done in the passing, 135 yards through the air, as they only had 38 yards rushing out on the football field. And penalties, not necessarily a big one in reality. They had 8 penalties for 75 yards, but it was the turnover factor for them. 2 turnovers in that game for the Lakeview Centennial Patriots. So at the quarterback position, Jonathan Hester, he was 10 of 16, only 135 yards, but he did get a passing touchdown out on the football field. That's where it happened. But the rushing, Jack Dustin, 14 rushes for 45 yards. Sean Lawson, 5 rushes for 16 yards. Jonathan Hester, he did a lot of rushing, but not a lot of yards. 16 rushes, only 4 yards. And then some guys that ended up as far as getting into only a few yards on their rushes. Now, as far as the wide receivers are concerned for the Lakeview Centennial Patriots, it was Julius Spencer. He had 4 receptions and 59 yards, but the one that got the touchdown was Colin Montgomery. He had 3 catches for 49 yards, and then Jonathan Whittle, 2 catches, 20 yards, and then a catch for 7 yards for Jack Dustin out of the backfield. So that's what ended up happening in that game as far as the Lakeview Centennial Patriots are concerned when they took on Skyline. You can say whatever you want about Skyline, where they are. That's always a big victory, especially the history that Skyline has. They may not be as good as they have been in the past, but still, you get a big win against the team that is really big as far as football is concerned. So that's really a mindset for the Lakeview Centennial Patriots going into this one. So lots of things to talk about when we come back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show and the pregame show. And of course, that's being brought to you by the Bullet Experience. Make sure you get on out to the Bullet Experience. Guys, I've seen a lot of facilities as far as training and what they do for whether it's just one sport or multi-sport. Folks, this is multi-sport. Folks, this has got everything that you possibly could need for basketball, volleyball, football, and soccer, and all sports out there. You can get what you need at the Bullet Experience. The Bullet Experience is located at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett, just on the outside of Waterview. You can't miss the place, and you will appreciate what is going on there. And make sure you give them a call over at the Bullet Experience for all your training, all your getting set, and keep going as far as your training is concerned. Always, your preseason training, but during the season is where it's most important. So make sure you check out the Bullet Experience, and we thank them for their sponsorship here of the pregame show for the Sachse Mustangs. So we'll take that quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. When we come back, let's take a look at what's going on as far as the Sachse Mustangs are concerned. And yet a little bit later, we'll bring in the Eagle Eye Bill Cerna as we talk about this game as the Sachse Mustangs taking on the Lakeview Centennial Patriots. We'll be right back. At the Jerry Bullet Training Center, we are a motivated team of coaches with the mindset of helping you achieve and reach your highest goals. Having developed and trained over 100 Division I athletes as well as Division II athletes, even professional athletes, the Bullet team definitely has the knowledge and mindset to take you to the next level. Check out our new 22,000 square foot facility and 3,000 square foot weight room, along with 4,500 square feet of outdoor turf and covered training area, along with football and soccer fields. Contact Melvin Bullet at 214-326-7853 or visit their facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett. The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com. Rich's Performance Muffler and Auto Care has provided complete auto repair services to the Wiley area since 2003. Whether it's alignments, brakes, air conditioning, muffler service, suspension, front-end auto services, or in my case, a Cadillac converter, Rich does it all. Stop by and see him at 603 Commerce Street, Suite 203 in Wiley, or give him a call at 972-461-0776. That's 972-461-0776. You'll be happy you called Rich instead of anybody else. Sachse Ice House is a non-smoking craft beer and beer pub located in the heart of Sachse. The Ice House was open to provide a friendly, clean, and female-friendly environment. Sachse was lacking a place for service industry, date nights, and girls' nights, as well as happy hours. Excellent service and top-notch food are our priority. On Tuesday, we offer 79-cent wings, as well as half-price burgers on Mondays. So check us out at the Ice House, located at 6501 Highway 78 in Sachse, or give us a call at 469-304-1550, or check us out on the web at SachseIcehouse.com. Go Mustangs! At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. We are locally owned and with over 20 years of experience, so roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors. And welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show and the pregame show of the Sachse Mustangs taking on the Lakeview Centennial Patriots, being brought to you by the Bullet Experience. Again, make sure you check them out over at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett. That being said, the Sachse Mustangs had a real tough go at the beginning of the season as we saw the Coppell Cowboys and the Sachse Mustangs go at it. This was a game that was really interesting, though, as we saw some scoring going on for the Sachse Mustangs as they scored 7 points in the first frame, 7 points in the second frame, and 13 points in the third frame. And again, that third frame was important as they were coming out of halftime as they were being beaten at the time 35-14. They really needed something to come out of that, and they did. They went out and they got the ball at the start of the second quarter, and they were able to get into the end zone. Unfortunately, did miss the extra point. But that being said, it was all about momentum and where they are. And what you got to do, especially in the game where you take a loss 56-27 against a very good quality team in the Coppell Cowboys, you got to find what you did good. Now, granted, the coaches are going to have to take care of what they didn't do well, but they have got to escalate on what they did well, which is find out what they needed to do. It's called the Big Mo, we call it here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. It's all about momentum and where you are. And when you get that momentum going, you can keep it going. That helps you throughout the game. Unfortunately, when they started the third quarter, the Big Mo didn't unfortunately keep going as they were not able to score within the fourth quarter. But that being said, putting up 27 points up against the Coppell Cowboys, pretty impressive in reality when you take a look at the whole thing as far as that is concerned. There were lots of things that needed to be improved on, as when you took a look at this football team, they only threw 20, mark that, 22 times and only had 5 completions. So the completion ratio has got to get better, and the 2 interceptions they can't have going into district. They're going to have to hold on to the ball a little bit better and make sure they don't turn it over, especially at the quarterback position. But really the story in this game was Pope Acuna, as this guy, 10 rushes, 163 yards, and a touchdown was huge. But even also, how about R.C. Reeves, 22 rushes, 159 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So finding the good positive as far as the rushing game in that concern was really big for the Sachse Mustangs. So excited about that and we're going to get Pope Acuna back. Pope Acuna back for this game as they go into district, as he did not play last week, as he was banged up a little bit after that performance. So we'll see how he recovers from injuries and they were not big injuries. They were just, he was beat up pretty well. We'll see how he comes back from that. That being said, up against Prosper, they were only able to manage 7 points, but it was the first drive. It was the onside kick. It was 2 plays later, they were in the end zone for a touchdown, and that was huge. And then, unfortunately, the Sachse Mustangs were not able to drum up any points within the second and third quarter. They did get a late touchdown as far as that is concerned, as there was a touchdown pass out there for Gutierrez. But they played a lot of quarterbacks. They played 3 quarterbacks in that game last week, as Gutierrez was the one that scored the touchdown later on. He did throw a bad interception, but the ball was partially blocked, so it ended up being a duck, and it was intercepted. But that being said, 3 of 7 for 84 yards and the touchdown and the interception. Brendan George, I'm telling you, I watched this guy, 5 of 11, only 48 yards and a touchdown, but really calm in the pocket for being as young as he is. So that was really huge. And so, and also Grayson King, 2 completions to 7 attempts, 34 yards. He threw an interception in that game. So there's a lot of questions about what's going on at the quarterback position for the Sachse Mustangs. We'll find out what happens, who rolls out there as the starter up against the Lakeview Centennial Patriots here on Friday night underneath Friday Night Lights. Rushing, 13 rushes, only 18 yards for R.C. Reeves. So you've seen the difference, but you also seen the difference in defense and reality in this game, as the defense from the Prosper Eagles is better and has proven to be better than what they got against the Coppell Cowboys. Haygood had 2 rushes for 12 yards. Brendan George, 3 rushes, 10 yards. Norberg, 1 rush for 1 yard. So no rushing touchdowns for the Sachse Mustangs, but Khalil Maka, mark that. So 3 receptions, 74 yards. He did get the touchdown. Robbie Rothrick, 2 catches, 52 yards. He also got a touchdown. Austin Phillips, a big catch for him, 32 yards. We'll find out what happened. So that would have happened in the lineup. Eagle Eye, Bill Cerna are getting the yards, 2 games out of district games, catches and 6 yards. And R.C. Reeves, he had a catch out of the backfield. So as the Sachse Mustangs get ready to dive into district, it is about the Lakeview Centennial Patriots. What's going to end up happening in that one will be very interesting. And what will be very interesting? It's going to be the Eagle Eye Bill Cerna and what he saw. Now, I'll give you what I saw. But the Eagle Eye, and we call him the Eagle Eye for a reason, he sees a lot of things that I definitely don't see, and he also brings up good points that went over my head. Here in the pregame show, being brought to you by the Bullet Experience. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, let's find out what Bill Cerna has to say. We'll be right back. At the Jerry Bullet Training Center, we are a motivated team of coaches with the mindset of helping you achieve and reach your highest goals. Having developed and trained over 100 Division I athletes as well as Division II athletes, even professional athletes, the Bullet team definitely has the knowledge and mindset to take you to the next level. Check out our new 22,000 square foot facility and 3,000 square foot weight room, along with 4,500 square feet of outdoor turf and covered training area, along with football and soccer fields. Contact Melvin Bullitt at 214-326-7853 or visit their facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett. Fit Body Boot Camp located in Sachse, the solution is here. Fast, long-lasting weight loss results and the healthy lifestyle you need to keep them. The key to your fat loss success is our signature afterburn workouts, as well as support and motivation from our world-class coaches, and an easy-to-follow nutrition program to help you keep the fat off. Visit your local Fit Body Boot Camp in Sachse today to see the difference for yourself, or give us a call at 214-463-3005. That's 214-463-3005. Fit Body Boot Camp, Sachse.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Casso Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance and save a ton. Casso Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CassoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on. Yeah, but is it fresh?
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Come see us today at our Rowlett location, 5701 President George Bush Turnpike, Suite 110 in the Target Shopping Center. Whether you want to eat in or take it home, we will fix you up. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
Ever want to know why Bill and I look so great on our broadcasts? Check out K West Designs on Facebook to find out why. Check out all the samples that Kelly has up so you can see, especially if you have a special occasion that needs something original or designed or something that says, this is our moment. Check out K West Designs on Facebook or give Kelly a call at 469-601-5856. That's 469-601-5856. K West Designs. Everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show and the pregame show being brought to you by the Bullet Experience. Make sure you check them out over there in Rowlett at 8900 Princeton Road, just outside of Waterview. You get all kinds of things going on over there, whether you're training, getting ready for workouts, and everything that you need to be at your best. So check out the Bullet Experience with Melvin Bullitt. About the only guy that's been able to stop Tom Brady, but it is what it is, and we are here, and I got the eagle-eye Bill Cerna. How you doing, Bill?
I'm good. How are you tonight, Sonny?
I'm excited, and I'm excited because we're about ready to dive into district play, and that's really the important. We've had two really kind of brutal games where we've been scored over 50 points in each one of the first two games. But then again, I was talking earlier in the pregame show about the state of the competition that we played compared to some of those that are within our own district.
Yeah, absolutely. It's different. Different style of football, different, some of these teams that we've been playing are some of the top in the state, and you're not going to see that quite caliber of players that you're going to see in our district. So definitely going to be a different setup for the district. And I think taking on two caliber teams like we did the first two games is definitely going to help us coming in the district.
Yeah, and taking a look at that as we within district, and that's in District 9-6A, just to let everybody know where we play. As far as the Sachse Mustangs, it is the Wiley East Raiders They are 2-0 to start off of that, but a lot of teams at 1-1. The Garland Owls, the Lakeview Centennial Patriots, the team we're playing, North Garland, South Garland, Wiley, all have been at 1-1. They all got a victory up on the season, but Garland, Neiman Forest, we won't know that score because we're recording this before they play tonight. So that being said, or mark that, the Rowlett Eagles, who are playing tonight. So we'll see how all that goes because we got them next week. And then Sachse Mustangs, kind of all the way at the bottom based upon a lot of things. But district play is where it's really all that important. And taking a look at the Lakeview Centennial Patriots as they move on, they had two close loss. They could have been 2-0 as they lost to Frisco Memorial 30-28, but got the victory 9-8 over Skyline. Now, and that's what I want to ask you about. Skyline, it's a different team. It's not the team that we've seen like in the past 4 to 5, 6 years. It's a little bit of a different team as and Lakeview getting the victory. That was pretty big for them, regardless of really the status of it, because that's a pretty good win.
Well, and like you said, at Lakeview Centennial could very easily be 2-0. They could also be 0-2 right now. Both teams, that first game against Frisco Memorial was a 2-point game, and then last week's was a 1-point game. So, it could have the roll of dice on either side. It could have had a different outcome. So, but two different total style of games as at Frisco Memorial. A lot more offense, especially in the second half. Because in that game, both teams, it was actually 7-7 at halftime. And you saw 24 points between the two teams scored in the fourth quarter. So where against Skyline, they only had 9 points total in the second half. And like I said, it ends up 10-9 with Garland or Lakeview Centennial winning. But like I said, it could have gone either way. So it was really a tale of two different games. But you're right about Skyline. They are not the team that we saw 10 years ago. They used to bring a lot of big product out of Skyline. It's a lot of D1 ball players. And it's just they have not brought out the same caliber of players that they used to in the past.
Absolutely. So, but still, that getting that victory, that gets you all set to go into district with a victory over Skyline, even though it was a 1-point victory for him. Jonathan Hester, the quarterback for the Patriots, he is 28 of 45, 381 yards, 5 touchdowns. But the real big number is that there is 0 interceptions thrown by Jonathan Hester. And after those first 2 games, that's actually really, really big for Lakeview coming into this game.
Well, and if you look at the stats of the first 2 games, 85% of his throwing completions have been to 2 different receivers, and that's Julia Spencer and Kaylin Montgomery. Between those two, they have 340 yards of Jonathan Hester's receiving yards. So really, it's those two guys that have been carrying the big load on the receiving side of it. But and they're both dangerous. But I tell you what, Jonathan Hester, he's dangerous with his legs. I mean, he already carried 29 times for the season so far. And Sachse only has 1 player so far for this year that's even rushed that many times. So Jonathan Hester, he can hurt you with his arm, but he can also hurt you with his feet.
And that being said, you go back into those games is what they're doing. Those 2 receivers also got the 5 touchdowns for them as well. So kind of got an idea who's going to get the ball when it's in the air. So that's something that I think Sachse will probably look at, and how they will figure out to defend that is going to be huge. But the rushing is right there as far as Jack Dustin. He has got 23 attempts, 124 yards. No rushing touchdowns, by the way, just to let you know, as far as this football team is concerned. So we got to look out for that. But Kaylin Montgomery, 4 rushes, 46 yards. And Jonathan Hester also using his legs, 29 rushes for 45 yards. So what we're seeing as far as his attempts at 29, he's getting an idea of what's going on out there and whether or not he can actually make the pass, and he's very easily going to take off and run.
Well, and that's what you got to be careful for, because you're right. He can take off and run with it. They've struggled with that running game. And so you question, was Hester running for his life a lot of times and getting these positive yards? Was it a struggle with that offensive line? That's really going to be told on Friday night on what it was. But he's dangerous. He's dangerous with his
Yep.
legs. He might not have any touchdowns yet, but a lot of those runs could have set up that passing offense as well.
So when you take a look, let's take a look at what the Sachse Mustangs got going on. Pope Akana, he did not play last week, but 10 rushes, 163 yards, and a touchdown. Week 1 against the Coppell Cowboys. R.C. Reeves, 35 rushes, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But really where Sachse is kind of lacking is definitely in the passing game. As you take a look at the numbers and you're going, how's this working? Only 2 passing touchdowns. Gutierrez, he is 4 of 10 for 97 yards. Grayson King, he is 6 of 26 for 68 yards. And then Brendan George, interestingly enough, we saw a lot of him in this game. He was 5 of 11, 48 yards and a touchdown. There's a big decision, I think, that probably has to be made by the head coach, looking at that and saying, well, who are you going to put in? Mark Red-Baring's got a big decision to make.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't really see Victor Jesus Gutierrez till towards the end of the game last week. Not sure why he didn't play much, but we did see a lot of Brendan George, which we weren't expecting him. And he came in. Matter of fact, his first completion of the game was a touchdown pass to Lockett. So, you're right. I know Grayson King. He has struggled through the air so far for the first 2 games. He's had 3 interceptions. Hasn't had a touchdown completion yet. So he's really struggled to get on target with his receivers. So yeah, I mean, between the 3 quarterbacks, you have a total of 15 completions, which are at the receiver or the quarterback we played against last week had that just alone in last week's game. So. Like I said, it's really going to tell on, make a decision on what they're going to do at the quarterback spot. We couldn't even tell you right now.
Right. No clue.
We're probably going to know the morning of the game on who's going to be starting that game. But even with that being said, even whoever's starting might not be in there very long. It really depends. But we're coming into district now. I think the goal is that Coach Behrens wants to get he wants to solidify a quarterback here in the next couple of weeks and say, this is who we're going to go with for the remainder of the year.
It's got to be about consistency at the quarterback position. I mean, we can run all day, and we've seen that. We got a pretty good running game, whether it's Reeves or Akana. So the running game is working pretty good. We get that passing game going on. It could be a threat, and especially going into district. The first 2 games, definitely a learning experience for Sachse going into this one. I'm really looking forward to see how they put together a game plan. And this is where I think we'll see what we're going to see, the meat and potatoes of this football team. It starts this week.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one thing that we really haven't talked about very much this year so far is special teams.
Yes.
We need to set the pace with our special teams, get some turnovers, and set the pace of the game with them. Right now, the defense has struggled through the first 2 games. With that being said, you're not going to see the type of offense tomorrow night as you have for the first 2 weeks of the year. So this could be an opportunity where they're going to be able to find their footing and get settled in. But I think special teams is the one where we need to make the difference and stand out between the 2 teams.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good one here as we dive into the district with the Lakeview Centennial Patriots. Next week, it's the Rowlett Eagles. And then the week after that, it's going to be Wiley East, who is undefeated at this moment. We'll see how all that works out and plays out here within the next couple of weeks. So now it's exciting time. After this game, we'll be 1/3 through the season. So it's kind of crazy. We're thinking, now we only got 6 games after the game here on Friday night. So, they got to put it together and start going and work with it.
Well, and usually this week we're still talking about non-district games,
Right.
where now we're starting the district, so a little bit different than what we had in the past. So this is where when you get into district is when it really counts. Obviously every game counts, but when it comes into district, that's where you really want to position yourself in a good spot. And so we get started early compared to a lot of districts. A lot of districts still have another game of non-district where we're going to dive right into it. So
is that an advantage, do you think? I mean, going into district right away, or would it be more of an advantage if we had one more, out of district game?
Well, I think with Sachse team, I think I think another non-district would have been great because Coach Red has always given himself a tough non-district lineup for the year. So having that third game, maybe somebody from a different district, as you saw with Capel and Prosper, maybe a third one from another district would definitely see where we position ourselves. But with that being said, I think we get into district and we set a pace. We play Sachse football and position ourselves in a good spot.
We'll see how all that works out here tomorrow, as we're going to be coming to you live from Homer B. Johnson Stadium, my favorite stadium. I love it. It's our home stadium, and even throughout the times when we called another one, now Sachse has moved over to there, so it's even more fun. So getting ready for it and getting ready for game number 3 here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, and the broadcasting team will also, we're going to do a little bit of different. We're going to bring in JP after a couple of the touchdowns and see what's going on, see what his views are coming from the sideline. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. So a lot of things changing going into district. So are we. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So Bill, as usual, thanks for joining us here on the pregame show, and we'll see you tomorrow night as the Sachse Mustangs take on the Lakeview Centennial Patriots.
Sounds good. I look forward to being back out there, especially in this nice weather.
Definitely. And everybody, we come back. It's going to be time to kick this thing off because we're going to play this before the game, so we're going to take it right up to kickoff. So that's going to do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show and your Sachse Mustangs Radio Network.